Good morning, guys. It's Jonathan with One Big Impact. So today's video is actually going to be a really simple one, and it is going to cover basically one thing in two different ways. So it is how to measure yourself. And the reason I'm specifically putting this out there is because we do have a challenge coming up, but also in addition to that, it's really good to measure yourself, because what a lot of people don't realize is they get so obsessed with the whole idea of losing weight and things like that. But also, it's really important to measure yourself if you're doing the opposite, like trying to gain mass or gain muscle or something like that. So how to measure yourself can be done a couple ways. It can be done this way with a measure ribbon. It's like $1 at Walmart. I will also put a link in the description below to pick up one on Amazon. And then you have this guy. This guy is probably my new favorite tool, and I will show you why in just a second. This is basically the original way of doing things would be this guy. Now, you want to take a few measurements, and I'll also put on Healthy Living for a Healthy Life, we have in the files section of the group, we have a measurement chart. Now, there's a couple points that I think are really important, no pun intended, that are really important for you to focus on. Okay, so I'm going to show you really quick. I would say the neck, the forearms, the biceps, the bust, the stomach, and underneath your stomach, because if you're like me, you have extra skin up here, and then down here it's going to be completely different. Your quads, the biggest part of your quads, and then your calves, the biggest part of your calves. Remember, when you're doing this, it's really important to go, if you're doing, like, for instance, a bicep, you want to do not necessarily like they have to flex or anything, but the biggest part of the bicep, you see how it's bigger right there? That's going to be the bigger part. And on your quads, just the same thing. The bigger part on the upper leg would be most important. Aside from that, I wouldn't go any further with measurements or anything like that. But basically, here's how you would do it. Now, this can be quite a pain, and I'll show you in a second why I like the other one. So you just put this on the back, drop it over, and I'm probably a little bit better at it than most people. So you got it there, you got 17, okay? And then with every other one, it's pretty easy. With some of them, you may need a friend. I would recommend doing this without your shirt on or without clothes on, so that you can get actual measurements. You got 48 there, and then you're going to go around your stomach. And as you can see, we go around your stomach here. We got 41 there, and then just below your stomach, got about 40 there, 30 something, 39 3/4. Now, you're probably like, why are you showing us this? We know how to measure ourselves. Not everybody does, okay? And it's important. I know some of these things can be really overlooked, and I just wanted to cover it. Now, at the end of this video, I will also give you a basic idea on how to measure your body fat percentage. And I will put links to all these little things in the description below, tape measures and stuff like that. I would not use a basic tape measure, but I will give you a tip. If you can't get one of these, or you don't have $1, or you can't get to the store and you're starting your journey or whatever, you're in the middle of nowhere, it's fine. Use string, okay? Use string and tack them to the wall and label them, okay? Use string, mark it with a marker, cut it at the end, put it on the wall and mark it, or put it in a book or a journal or whatever, and mark, with a label, hey, which one did I use? Use a Post-it or a little piece of tape like masking tape or something like that, and put it around it. So for instance, if you got this as your string, you would put the masking tape around it and label it. This is my bicep, left bicep, right bicep. In addition to that, make sure you are doing left side, right side, right side with your legs and everything like that, because we are not symmetrical, but we will also lose completely differently. One of my clients, we measured her the other day, and it was completely different. Some parts of her body got bigger, some parts drastically dropped. So congratulations, by the way, if you know who you are. I'm proud of you. You are 9 inches down. But it is really important to focus on inches and pictures and progress photos and how you feel rather than just the weight. Okay, so this little guy here happens to be my favorite, and the reason is you pull it out, you put this little doohickey in the end, you see right there, slide your arm in there. Oh, it needs to be a little bit bigger. You slide, put my arms back up, my sleeve back up, slide your arm in there, go to the biggest part, there's a little button on there, you push the button, and that's it. And that's going to be your measurement. My arm shrink. Right there. See that? That's your measurement. You don't read anything but whatever it says right at there. Okay? And the same thing with anything else. If you're doing around your stomach, you just pull it out, put it in the end, pull the little button all the way till it stops, and you got your measurement there. Really easy. Now, the reason I use this is because if you're alone, you don't have to hold both ends, okay? Especially for your biceps and different part, if you have mobility issues or anything like that, it can be really helpful. Now, the other cool thing about this is, come on. The other cool thing about it is that if you buy it in the little kit that is going to be in the description below, and what did I just break it? Did I really just break it? Tell me I didn't break it. I totally just broke it. What the heck? Did that really just happen on camera? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Maybe I need to go all the way out. Okay, so clearly I did something wrong here. What did I do? What the hell happened? There we go. Come on. Okay, that sucked. I definitely broke it. Technical error. All right. So that's freaking great. I'll have to open it up. I think I just pulled it too fast or something. So, the other thing is going to be body fat percentage. Now, I tell people a lot not to focus too much on BMI and things like that because it can be so wildly different. But it's really important that you do get it as a basis, same like measurements. I don't want you to be feeling like you're controlled by measurements or that you're controlled by body fat percentage or anything like that. But it is really important to have a base point just so that you know that you're going down over time. So this guy is the Omron Fat Loss Monitor, and it's just a body fat percentage. It'll show you BMI and stuff like that, but I would focus mostly on the body fat percentage. If you look on the wall over there, I track all my body fat percentages on my wall, along with my weight and stuff. I don't do measurements because the dry erase is too big and it would just never fit on the whole little screen there. But basically how this works is you turn it on, really simple, and I would say track this at least on a weekly basis, if not like a monthly basis. Not every day necessarily. I track every day. So you go ahead and set normal. You put your height, your weight, your age, male or female, and you start. And the one thing that you need to remember when you're using this type of thing is do not do it just after exercise, and also don't do it if you're like overly hydrated. If you drink tons of water or anything like that, best time to do it is when you weigh yourself, when you measure yourself, and this in the morning consistently every time. It's fine. So once you get started, you're going to basically stand with your feet shoulder width apart, put your hands out in front of you, squeeze it tight, push start, hold it there, and then you're good to go. It takes about 10 seconds to record it. Now the other way, the slightly more accurate way to measure your body fat percentage, obviously there is going to be extremely accurate ways like DEXA scans, a DEXA scan, and the BOD pods and stuff like that. But for most people, they're not going to be very efficient as far as cost is concerned. So as you're going to see right here, the body fat percentage monitor, the one I'm going to link up in the description, is actually going to have this little thing here. Okay, so when you squeeze that, let me see if I can show you. When I squeeze it, you see when it clicks in, watch. Clicks in, stop. Okay? So this is not something, I'll be honest, I'm self-conscious and I'm not going to pull out my stomach in front of people. But if you get it here and you get it on there, right there is where you would stop. Okay? Do you notice right when it clicks in? Right when it clicks in, you stop. Okay? So the best location to do a one test point would be right above your hip, about an inch above your hip and in towards your belly button. You grab a piece of skin with two fingers, okay? 2 fingers, and you get it like that, and well, mine said it was like 11. Okay, so whatever it says on the number there, you see that? The number correlates directly with this chart. Okay, this chart, if it says 11 body fat for percent for men, remember, if you're a woman, you're going to naturally have a higher body fat percentage, which is perfectly fine. You bear children, that's the reason. Okay, so if it says 11, I go to my age, 36 to 40, and 11, 36 to 40 is about 14% body fat. Okay, now you are probably going to get a wildly different number from one of these to one of these, but it's the same thing as if you were to step on this scale or the scale at work or the scale at your friend's house or whatever. You're probably going to freak out. The only thing that's going to be consistent is measuring. Aside from that, if you're measuring body fat percentage, pick one tool and stick with it. Also, if you have a personal trainer or you're working with somebody or you're having somebody test for you, I will also put a link in the description below of exactly how to do the measurements, because the side matters, the centimeters basically that you're grabbing matters and stuff like that. So I'll put a little explanation in the description below to give you a little bit more information on that. But make sure you're consistent with whoever's testing you. Make sure you're consistent with the time that you're testing. Obviously, you don't want to test after eating a bunch of food. And do things that lower your body fat percentage. Okay, slow, steady state cardio, high intensity interval training, strength training, things like that, as well as eating right and being healthy. If you guys have any questions about anything that we just spoke about in the video, please feel free to ask. I know this is kind of a basic understanding of how to measure yourself and how to do your body fat percentage. Also, another thing is, if you measure or if you weigh yourself without clothes the first time, make sure you weigh yourself without clothes the second time. Whatever you're doing, journal it and be consistent. If you always test on the first of the month and then suddenly, you know, you're going through that special time of the month for women, make sure you're not measuring and stuff like that around that time, because you'll be bloated, you'll weigh a little bit more, you'll be retaining water, and that's perfectly normal. So please make sure you stay consistent each and every single month. You guys keep up the good work. Be stronger than your excuses. Remember to spread love, not hate. And have a beautiful day. Peace.